Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderfall Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today we have a little review video for you. Obviously we had the Dead and Divine online Warhammer preview last night, and I've taken a little bit of time to think about it, have a look at some of the stuff, and now we're going to go through and talk a bit about all the things in it. There'll be some bits that I talk more about, obviously probably more on the Age of Sigmar stuff. We'll talk a little bit about all the Warhammer 40,000 stuff. I'm pretty new in the 40k universe sort of stuff, at least for 9th edition and 8th, and so we'll talk a little bit about it. I liked what we saw from everything, really. I don't think there's anything in this reveal that I didn't like. Maybe a lack of things in particular areas, but let's get cracking on into it. So we started Dead and Divine. We knew we were going to get stuff for Warhammer 40,000 Killteam, which was awesome. Adeptus Titanicus, Age of Sigmar, Underworlds, and a surprise at the end there. So let's go into it. We just got the video. Warhammer 40,000 Armor of Faith. The Sisters of Battle are getting a brand new unit. This cool little mecha suit. I like mech suits. Pretty down for them. The Invictus Tactical War Suit for Space Marines is one of my favourite things in Space Marine. And you know, the Dread Knight is awesome. I believe it's called the Dread Knight. That's a Grey Knights one, isn't it? I'm a big fan of this. Sisters of Battle getting a new model is something I couldn't have imagined. It's been so long for Sisters of Battle to get a new unit. I mean, we obviously got all the plastic kits and all that, but they were just remakes of all the old stuff we had. And like, Sisters of Battle came out first in their metal models when I first got into the hobby. And now they've finally got new models, got new plastic, and they're finally seeing new kits. I'm a big fan. I can't wait to pick up some more Sisters of Battle. I've got some that need to get painted and ready, and hopefully get them on the tabletop for the channel, and we can start getting some 40k stuff done. But big fan. Sisters of Battle, awesome. I really like this model. You saw a bunch of different variations of gun. I think you saw Heavy Bolter, Heavy Flamer, and the multi-melter you see here. There's helmeted and unhelmeted variants of it, which are cool. They can make all your models unique. Yeah, just really cool. Really like this model. And that's really all there was for 40k. Killteam is the one I'm excited for most of all. I really love this small format of Killteam. We're going to get Space Marines versus Necrons, which is cool. I've picked up Indominus, so all this stuff will be really useful for me. A Captain, more heavy intercessors, and a bunch of cool Necron models as well, including this Cypher dude. I forget the name of what he actually is, but the flayed ones look amazing. Really happy with all of this. It's all tying into that. And here we go. Chronomancer was completely wrong on the name of that Necron there. Flayed ones, the heavy intercessors. The terrain's pretty cool. It looks like this will be a much more up close and personal edition of Killteam, of course. But I mean, I like my Killteam boards to be full of terrain, like utterly full of terrain. So I'll be adding a bit to this, but definitely a really cool set. And from what we were told, it is the full set for the heavy intercessors in there. So you're going to get all the weapon variations in that box set, which is cool. We then got Titanicus. This is really cool. So remembering way back when they've had some cool models, I remember looking at the Imperator and all this sort of stuff for the Titans, and we're getting a Warmaster Titan, which is bigger than a Warlord Titan. So this a massive behemoth with guns just everywhere. It's got a twin-link las cannon in its knee. It's got missile pods stuck in its shoulders there. Guns everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and these massive plasma weapons there as well. It's even got the missile rack you can see there, and here we've got a cool image of the Warmaster next to a Warlord and bigger than all of them. It's just awesome. I really want to get into Titanicus. I'd love to know how people are getting into it now. I know the starter set's a little bit hard to find and pick up, but yeah, how are people getting into Titanicus at the moment? You're then getting another book, so we're getting Loyalist Legios for Adeptus Titanicus. So we're getting another update, but then comes the stuff I'm really interested in. Warhammer Age of Sigmar and Lumineth Realm Lords, Harness the Hurricane. And we'll go in off screen for a sec after we talk about this guy. This is the new wind aspect, Severeth, Lord of the Seventh Wind. A named character, very cool model. Reminds me of the Kitsune from Magic the Gathering. That's exactly what I saw when I first saw it. What was it, Legends of Kamigawa, or long time ago. That's when I first started playing Magic the Gathering, way back when. I remember the Kamigawa set, and this just screams Kitsune to me. One of my cousins that I got into like all my sort of nerdy stuff with, he used to run a Kitsune deck. I remember having my Aki go up against that Kitsune deck heaps. But yeah, really cool model. And we're just going to jump off this because the video up here has a bunch of silhouettes shown, and I want to talk a little bit about all of them, but we'll have to go off this for a sec, so we'll return to this page in a second. And so let's talk a little bit about all these Lumineth Realmlord stuff that we saw. So there was a ton of miniatures shown off in this little video that they put together for the Lumineth Realmlords, and I've taken them all out, and we can have a little bit of a chat about all of them. So this is quite obvious a model of the Regent that we've already seen. The one major thing to notice about this though is it's got a different helmet. Someone did point out in my last video that the shield was different between the two pictures that we saw in the original teaser video on New Year's Day. So this is likely the different shield, but that is definitely a different head crest, a much more regal sort of looking one. We've had some people talk around and like maybe this is Tyrion, but for me this is definitely not Tyrion. The fact that we're getting the next Broken Realms book, which is going to be called Teclis, I don't think there would be a Tyrion model in a book called Teclis. If they were going to make this Tyrion, the next book would be called Tyrion. For me, this is just going to be very similar to like Aventus Firestrike or Asteria Soulbright or Volturnus, etc. A named variation of the kit with a few, you know, maybe a weapon or a head swap and a few little changes around there. Which is cool. I really like when they do this with kits. I wish they did this with more kits. A lot of these monster mounted ones, when they release them, release a named variation of it. It's a really cool way just to add an extra skull into the and build up some lore as well. Most importantly, these characters allow you to give you focal points, you know, like Avan Lenore, and obviously it's the current one with Lumineth Realmlords that has the same sort of treatment. But this would be cool to see a Venari character, because that is the cool thing about this model, is that it's Venari. And next up, we've got this cool twin model. Now, for me, this is definitely two models. I think you can definitely see the silhouette of the top one. That looks like it's got a staff on the top there with a very ornate sort of headpiece leaping over the top. I don't think it's like a lance or something. You can sort of see it's got some circular features to the top of it. I reckon that's a staff up the top that the top model is holding. And on the bottom, you can see that there is a foot on the bottom left of the cloak and a foot on the bottom right where its feet are planted on the model. And also, I reckon it's overhead swinging a sword. That large blade sticking out there to the left of the model looks like its arms are raised above its head, which is sort of sitting just down on the right there. So I definitely think this is a twin model similar to like Celeste or something like that. What it is, who knows? We don't really have any High Elf twins in Warhammer Fantasy that maybe this could be related to, so maybe this is an entirely new character. I do see this being maybe a named character, but then we've also got the, I believe it's Ilithia. It might be one of the other ones. I may be wrong on the twins, but there's one of the particular Lumineth Realmlord sub-factions in one of the cities that's part of the Teclian Nations that has this process of twinning. And what that is lore-wise is they effectively, when Teclis draws out the soul, they actually make a copy of the soul. And so you have these twins that are like perfect replicas of one another. And it helps them fight. So generally one of them will be a Warden and one of them will be an Aurelin Sentinel. And they'll fight in this formation together, and makes the Ilithia battle lines very, very strong, having this link of like almost... this psychic connection between the Wardens and the Sentinels just makes them that much better at what they do. And so I reckon this is another twin model, maybe a character, maybe, you know, a character not from one of the ones we're more used to. Maybe it's going to be a named character from a particular faction, from this particular twinning faction, maybe. And then the one that everyone wanted to see, we've got the Swordmasters. Now, I think the most important thing that I found interesting is that they appear to not be water aspect. They appear to just be Venari. So does that mean these are like our elite Venari troops? Do we not have water factions shown off at all yet? I think that's the case. They're looking pretty cool. I love the back banners idea. It's leaning into that Eastern aesthetic that the Lumineth Realmlords have got. And those... I've always said that Swordmasters were one of the kits I wanted to see reimagined the most. The old plastic Swordmasters that people remember especially from the Island of Blood set, where they were on that very same static pose. They were cool models, but they were very, very static and rigid. And I always thought they were one of the greatest kits that I wanted to see giant sweeping blows and movement in these models. And, well, we've got it here. You've got the ones with their blades out in a whole bunch of different poses, just giving them that movement that these models deserve. They've got really good stancing with their feet. It's just awesome. This is what I wanted to see. This is a unit for Lumineth Realm that I've been more excited for than anything, because I just wanted to see Swordmasters get what they deserve and some dynamic, amazing posed models, and they look like they're going to be in this. And it's really cool that they also look like they're going to be Venari. So we have some elite Venari troops, making the just generic non-temple Lumineth maybe a much more viable option. Then we've got this awesome dude, or maybe girl. The chest does seem to point out a little bit, maybe not enough high enough for it to be a female model, but interesting things about this. I reckon he's got a sword in his forehand there, and on the back I reckon he's got some sort of weird looking staff, or maybe shooting magic out of it, or maybe it's something trailing off there. On the other hand, maybe this is some sort of glaive. It does become a little, but the cool thing he's got up the top there is he's got both the sun and moon, which is obviously the two different symbols of Teclis is the moon, Tyrion is the sun. So there's some cool things there. Maybe this is our Loremaster. There's been a little bit of Loremaster lore in the Lumineth Realm Lords book called Realm Lords by Dale Lucas. I've got a review for that up on the channel if you'd like to go read it. And so maybe this is what a Loremaster looks like. We know they exist, much like the Regent, how we got that in Dale Lucas's novel. We also got Loremasters. This, to me, seems very much like what a Loremaster might look like. We've obviously got the Lumineth Realm Lords Diachasm Warband that has a Loremaster leading it. It looks sort of similar. It's got a bit of the same sort of clothing. So Loremaster is what I'm going for with this model. This one, well, this is easy as to tell you what it is. This is our bolt thrower. It's much more in the design of the Dark Elf style bolt thrower standing up, which also, I guess, sort of fits more with the aesthetic of what the Lumineth Realm Lords have been doing with their bows and stuff. We read about these originally in Wrath of the Everchosen, when Archaon was going and fighting the Lumineth Realm Lords guarding Slaanesh prison. The bolt throwers were helping the Venari troops, so very likely that these are more Venari troops, which is cool. Getting an actual bolt thrower, another war machine in Warhammer Age of Sigmar is cool. There aren't many, and I'm glad we're starting to see them more and more come into armies. Awesome addition. I don't think there's much more else to say. I think this is probably one of the clearest pictures we've got, and I look forward to some very heavy range firepower. And then we've got this model. Now, this one I'm really keen on, because for me, Lumineth Realm Lords, with their whole Shining Company and stuff, they're bringing back some very Warhammer Fantasy vibes in how they play and how they function, how they look on the table. This, to me, looks like this could be a Battle Standardbearer, an old callback to Warhammer Fantasy, where Battle Standardbearers were a very common thing you would see in nearly every army in Warhammer Fantasy battles. I think Lumineth Realm Lords are the perfect army to have a Battle Standardbearer, and this model just looks cool. I like how the banner is sort of different. It, once again, is taking a lot of Eastern aesthetics and applying them to the model. He's got a very cool pose, holding the banner back, pointing a sword out for the troops to charge on into. It looks like his head is probably tilted towards facing where that sword is looking, just judging on how that plumage is poised, but maybe not. Or actually, maybe we're in fact seeing the back of him, and that sword is pointing out while he's sort of looking forward, and the banner is looking forward as well. That could be another possibility. But all in all, I really like the idea that we're going to get a Battle Standardbearer. I hope this is a Battle Standardbearer and a banner of some sort, a banner-wielding character for Lumineth Realm Lords. I think these characters can add so much to the battlefield and the games you're playing. Just very nice, not necessarily gigantic centerpieces like a dragon or a monster or something, but these are a great looking centerpiece on the table. I always remember playing Warhammer Fantasy battles and really enjoying looking at my opponent's Battle Standardbearers, as they'd all be converted up, generally models, or even the non-converted ones that were like the limited edition ones you used to get on the all Battle Force boxes from Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I really enjoyed just seeing people's paint jobs on these models, and they give an extra dimension to the table and the models on it. So really hoping he's not only a Battle Standardbearer in general, but a good model that can be seeing the field a lot as well. And then lastly, this was the last model shown off in the reveal, or in the little trailer where we've got these weird lens flare stuff. But for me, this is just a generic wizard. That's what this looks like to me. I think this is going to be a very basic Venari sort of wizard. And unlike the Lawmaster, which is a combat / wizard, I think this is going to be a pure wizard. It looks like maybe there's a book in his hand over on the left hand side, maybe. And maybe that's a sword strung across his back. It does look like he's facing away from us very much in the video, just based on how it looks to be, how you can sort of see the knuckles facing away from you rather than the thumb in the right hand side holding the staff. Yeah, a generic wizard. I think this is going to be just a generic Venari wizard. The head crest is very reminiscent of a lot of the Venari sort of insignia to me. Yeah, I think this is just going to be a very generic Venari wizard, which is cool. Basic wizard is awesome. I think one last thing to talk about this particular Venari wizard is, seeing as all our unit leaders are single casters already, are maybe our Venari wizards that are not unit leaders maybe going to be dual casters? That's something to think on, maybe. And so we're back to this. The one model I didn't crop a picture of, and I'm sorry, is that there looks to be a generic non-named variation of this Wind Spirit here, which is cool. And very much like Avalon Lenore and the generic Alara Spirit of the Mountain, we're going to get a generic one, a named one. It looks like. We get a few more pictures of it. Very antelope cross fox thing. I really like that this is a very big harken back to the old bolt thrower. Also really like how they've modeled it so that one of the arrows is missing, because obviously it's shooting one of them. I think that's a really cool picture. And a really cool, just simple, very simple, thoughtful design piece to do of, well, he's firing one arrow already, so there should be one missing from his quiver. I think that's a really, really strong design point there. I really like the magical flame as well on the arrows. Obviously, the arrows don't start like that, so there's something magical about what they're doing. And then we got this, and I'm going to do a whole video on this book in particular, the Broken Realms Techless book. Because I think it deserves its whole own video talking about this. But it's the next book in Broken Realms. It's going to feature background that forever changed the Mortal Realm, and War Scroll battalions for Lumineth Realmlords, Cities of Sigmar, Maggot Kin of Nurgle, Flesh Eater Courts, and Ossiarch Bone Reapers. There are also War Scrolls for a swath of the new Lumineth Realmlords units, including some that we saw earlier in the week, meaning the Kangaroo Riders, and unique battle plans that let you play out some of the battle for the narrative. Cool. And then we got a little bit extra that I wasn't expecting to see, and that's a new Daughters of Cain battle tome, which is awesome. And I'll do a video saying what I hope to see in this as a whole separate thing as well. So you'll see a couple of extra videos here coming out on the channel soon, talking about Daughters of Cain and Broken Realms Techless. But this is really cool. New Daughters of Cain battle tome, but that wasn't it for the Daughters of Cain. We also saw endless spells, and these are some of the best endless spells I reckon that we've seen in a long, long time. We have the Bloodrack Viper, which is obviously the giant snake thing. The Blade Wind, which is a cool callback. Obviously, Blade Wind is still a spell on the current Sorceress War Scroll. And the Heart of Fury, very much a very cool Iron Heart of Cain. And then we've been told that these will be released alongside the Hedonites of Slaanesh release. So it's going to be a very expensive week for me. Then we got Diachasm, and boy, oh boy, we got the Crimson Court shown, and these vampires are stunning. You've got this guy here, who is the leader of the warband. We got the piratey saber dueling vampire lady that we've seen before. This guy is my favorite here, the giant enforcer vampire. That giant polearm maul thing that he's got. Awesome. Really, really like that model. And then we got this Curseborn guy, who's effectively a feral vampire, which is really cool. They're really awesome. I can't wait. I played my first game at Underworlds the other day and really enjoyed it, so hoping to get some more Underworlds content on the channel for you all. But this is the big thing. This was their big secret reveal, Warhammer Quest Cursed City. I won't show the video on here, but definitely go look at it. This looks like it's going to be amazing. We're going to be very, I guess, Dark Souls or The Witcher style, hunting vampires and undead in a cursed city with some cool heroes. And speaking of cool heroes, look at this guy. He is everything I wanted. I wanted a witch hunter or a vampire hunter, and he is everything. He's got a cool, like, underslung stake shooter part to his rifle. And there was a little bit of lore they talked about on this as well, where he gets these stakes made from Aquitian firewood so that they actually burn upon impact when they hit people. He's got a cool little dagger on his front. He's got a giant greatsword, which isn't even one of his 2 great weapons he's holding. He's got the cool little hammer to hammer down those stakes into people. Just an all-out, awesome model. And then we've got this guy as well, Goslav the Gravekeeper. He looks like the thing of nightmares. They've gone very Dark Age of Sigmar on this, and I couldn't be happier. I think we're in for a treat when we see the rest of the undead models in this range, because he just looks amazing. And of course, they've got a website to go visit to go see Warhammer Quest. A little bit more in detail, but yeah, all in all, this was a really cool review. Reveal, rather. And I'd love to know all your thoughts, what you're looking forward to seeing soon, what you're looking forward to grabbing, are you things that you may be disappointed that didn't appear, and all your thoughts on it. Thank you all for watching the video though. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and help us break through 2,000 subscribers as soon as possible. If you like the video and want to come chat with me more and other members of our fine community, you can do so by following the link down to our Discord server in the description of the video below. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel like these fine people on our screen do, and those fine people are James, AJC, JC, Christian Weir, Philip Ward, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Alder and Shop First, Chaos Spawn and James Crowder, then you can do so by following one of the many links down in the video's description to either our Patreon, our YouTube members, or our Ko-fi, and help support us in that way. Lastly though, everyone, a massive thank you to all of you for watching the video. Once again, stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. And also, don't forget to go check out the suggested channels and the featured channels on our YouTube as well for a bunch of fantastic Warhammer Age of Sigmar content from some other awesome creators. Thank you all everyone, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.